Felt like a day. My name is Mighty Wereball. Welcome back to more Danganronpa. We're just about to start the third class trial with the murders of Angie and Tenko. Now, I'm going to be honest, it seems like it's a very obvious suspect this time. I think it's Kyo, and unless something comes out of completely out of left field, I don't see that changing. I think it's going to be Kyo at the end of it, but we'll see. We'll see. We've had weirder things happen, but let's begin the class trial. Yes, I want to start. In session. Be interesting to see how long this one lasts. Hopefully not 3 episodes again, but who knows.
Ahem. Now then, let's begin with a basic explanation of the class trial. During the class trial, you'll present your arguments for who the culprit is and vote for who done it. If you vote correctly, only the blackened will be punished, but if you pick the wrong person, I'll punish everyone besides the blackened, and that person will graduate from this academy. Also, refusing to vote will result in your death, so you better vote for someone. Now, smiles everyone, it's showtime. Let's get this crazy awesome trial underway. I'm sorry everyone, but I don't think I'm going to be much help this time. Because of Monokuma's disruptions, I couldn't do a thorough investigation. I can tell Monokuma is overcompensating to hide his self-consciousness. Next time, spend less time fixing your hair and more time investigating, spaceman. Shut up! I don't need to hear some comedy act from you two weirdos. Who did it? Who killed Angie and Tenko? Do not let your emotions hasten your judgment. There may be 2 killers.
So our other culprit might not be one of us here. The weird way of saying that. What do you mean? Oh, yeah, she's trying to think that it's some kind of ghosty goo that's done it. A transfer student. Maybe a resurrected transfer student dragged Angie and Tenko into the grave.
Stop it! Stop making stuff up!
Say something, Suichi. It'll be a mess if this keeps going on. Is it even possible for a revived corpse to be the culprit? Well, in the interest of being thorough, I should clear things up here. Alright, we're getting straight into it then. Trying to prove that it's not a zombie. Okay, Monokuma file effigies hang upside down Necronomicon. This crime was committed by the recently deceased. How do I do all this again? They came back to kill 2 of our classmates. I've forgotten. No, that's not the button I want to use. I've forgotten all the buttons on how to do this. Not that one. That's to slow it down. That's to speed it up. That's to shoot. That's the same button again. I keep pressing that. Wise fire. Okay. Angie said she was bringing Rytaro back. So how do I change? Oh wait, that's how I do it. Alright, okay. The culprit is the late Rytaro Amami. Please stop it. Okay, this isn't about believing the reviving the state. I have to focus on their statements. I know the ritual didn't succeed and there should be evidence to support that. Evidence. Necronomicon, right? I don't think the other 2 would be evidence. No, it didn't work. Out of the way! Damn it! Right, okay, so skip ahead. Right, let's try and get this again. Now that no, in my luck, I'll get this one. There we go. Good. It's a great start when I can't remember any of the buttons. It's going to bode well for the rest of this investigation. I don't think Angie's ritual succeeded. According to the Necronomicon Monokuma showed us, you have to burn the Necronomicon in the ritual. After preparing the effigy, burn this Necronomicon to ashes. Use caution even. Be mindful of carbon monoxide poisoning. Sprinkle the ashes on the effigy and repeat in the name of the deceased 3 times. If Angie's trial had succeeded, the book would have been gone.
So she must have been killed before the ritual was complete, since the book was still intact. Then can't I think Rytaro probably not culprit?
Oh, I guess you're right.
Yeah, duh, there's no way a dead person could resurrect. Now hold on there a second. I can't let that comment stand. Sure, everybody knows you can't bring the dead back to life. But it's easy at the Ultimate Academy, as long as you use the Necronomicon.
Is that a hint to what's going to happen at the end of this this game, the last trial? Is Junko coming back?
What are you talking about? There's no way that's possible. But it's true. I never lie about motives. Dad has said so we can't be wrong. Raising the dead is totally possible.
Man, I can't believe you guys wasted such a perfectly good motive. You should have let me use it to bring Monodam back to life.
Monodam is still alive, though.
Ha ha ha, I'm just kidding. I wouldn't waste the resurrection of Monodam's corpse.
Well, I think it's safe to say who Monodam's going to kill next then, isn't it?
Oh, so resurrecting the dead was actually possible this whole time?
There's no way that's possible. There's no way that could happen, idiots. Monokuma is trying to confuse us. I just noticed, has Angie got little angel wings on her poster? Let's hurry up and find out who the blackened is. She does. She's a wee halo on angel wings.
If our transfer student is the culprit, then blame falls to one of us. Who did it?
Step aside, Half-Point. I'll handle this. I don't know about Tenko, but I'm pretty fucking sure Kyo murdered Angie.
What? Why?
Don't play dumb with me, Creepshow. I already know what happened. Interesting. Art lab front door, Kokichi's lockpicking Sumugi's account. The culprit used a katana to kill Angie. And it was found in Kyo's research lab. Which makes you, Kyo, automatically suspicious. Yep, you're no wrong there. But anyone could have taken the katana, you see. So that rusty katana was the murder weapon. You were the only one who cared about that thing, Kyo. I did not care about some katana. Just admit it, you shit-eating worm. You went to the classroom, broke in, and murdered the fuck out of Angie. Broke in. Kokichi's lockpicking, breaking in. Oh yeah, I'm a fucking genius. Is Kurokyu really the culprit? Does that story fit the facts of the case? At the very least, there was no way he could have forced his way into the room. Would it be cut? Oh wait, hang on. Would it be lockpicking? Yeah, because he kind of forced his way in. Right? We'll go with that. We'll go with that and see what happens. Shit-eating worm. Classroom broken. That one. I keep pressing the wrong button. And I completely... Skip ahead. Right. Yeah, that's the shit-eating worm. And it bounces back the way. No, it's not that. Okay. Whether Kyu had a key or not, Angie still would have let him in to her lab. No, she wouldn't have. And from there, he would have pinned her down and murdered her just like that. I made a mistake. I need to think over it again. So if it's not that, what was Sumigi's account again? She was part of the... She wouldn't let anybody... Was it her that said that Angie wouldn't let anyone else in the lab except it was on business? We'll go with Sumugi's account. That's the only thing I can think of that... Because I don't think it's the front door. We'll go with this one. There we go. Okay, Sumigi must have said then that it was council student members only. No, Kyu would not have been able to enter Angie's lab. Isn't that right, Sumugi? Yeah, before Angie locked herself up in her research lab, she said she wasn't going to open up to her for anyone but student council members. And Kyu is not a member. She wouldn't have opened the door for him.
They couldn't have killed Angie, even if they wanted to.
I had no desire to kill her in the first place.
So whoever killed Angie must have been one of the student council members, yeah?
Oi, I was doing the bit to lead you to the right answer. Can't believe you actually got it.
Oh, how clever.
You could just ignore her, Gonta.
The remaining student council members are Gonta, Kibo, Smuggy, and Himiko.
Well, I can't be Himiko. She was besties with Angie. I trust their friendship. You guys do too, right?
Yeah, of course. Can we trust our friendship so readily?
Obviously, let's believe in them.
That trims our list of suspects down to 3. Gonta, Smuggy, and Kibo.
Yep, the culprit is one of those 3 people.
Is Kokichi gonna blame Kibo?
You mean one of those 2 people? Because they're robot ain't people, Jack.
I will let that remark slide. Anyway, aren't these accusations just a tad too hasty?
Well, Abs, the culprit should confess already. Contact Gonta, Keyboy, or Sumugi. Well?
No, not Gonta. Gonta would never kill Angie.
Yeah, Gonta's a gentleman. You shouldn't suspect either of us.
Hey, stick up for me too.
I don't think it's any of those 3.
Gonta definitely not hurt anyone. Torture Gonta if you don't believe.
Torture might be a bit too far, but Gonta and I aren't the culprits.
I'm not the culprit either, jeez.
I don't think either. Still nothing to say that it's not Kyo at the moment anyway. Mass panic, okay. Lockpicking, Necronomicon, account. It's considered the autopilot that didn't kill Angie, Gonta as a gentleman. Student must be suspect. Oh Christ. Gentleman, not betrayed student councilman. Well then who did? So I thought Tenko did it. Utterly impossible. Do you have an alibi? Dead shit can't be the culprit. Not just anyone could open that door. Oh, lockpick. I missed. I meant. Robophobic remark. I can't question an insect. Well, I think I know which one I've got to shoot here, so I'm just going to go for that. I just have to point out the inconsistency, yeah, because the shit goblin says it, basically. So that's what I've got to shoot. Utterly impossible. Not just anyone can open that door. That one. Boom. No, it wasn't just student council members that could have opened that lab door.
Huh? What was it you said earlier about Kyo opening the door, Shibuchi? Unless you're a student council member, you can't enter Angie's lab, right?
I was referring to Kyo. He couldn't have done it, but you could have. Because I saw you open the classroom block open the classroom lock by picking it. Kokichi pulled out some thin needles and stuck them into the keyhole of the lock. Clickety click click. Clack. On your sack.
There, open says me. Oh, that happened. I totally forgot.
So you're going to pretend you don't remember, huh?
Quit glaring at me like that. Of course I remember. Yeah, I did it. I killed Angie.
Wait, what? What did you just say?
I picked the lock to her lab, stuck into the room, and then wham! Killed Angie. The culprit was me all along.
What? What are you saying? Is this some kind of joke?
Nah, no joke. I thought if I confessed I could atone for my sins. And it's helped. I feel so much better. Sure.
Wait, so Kokichi really is culprit?
No, he's lying. I think. Maybe.
He's lying. I'm certain of it.
No, definitely not a lie. I killed Angie. Shouldn't you guys believe the culprit when they confess?
Then let me ask you, culprit, how did you lock the room?
Huh? It's the same as opening it. You pick the door closed from the outside.
No, that doesn't make sense.
Huh? What doesn't make sense?
Can't you lock a door by picking it? Maybe. That's not how the culprit locked the room. They used a different method.
What different method?
The back door.
Yeah, Mumbles, use your big boy voice and explain yourself.
There were 2 doors to that classroom, and the one locked was the back door. I keep pressing X for that, and it's Y. Why? I don't know why they've made it that way. But anyway, the back door. That's how they made this a locked room mystery.
The back door had a sliding lock, yes. How was it locked from the outside?
The culprit used a certain tool. The tool that the culprit used to lock the sliding door from the outside was... Mind mine. Oh, Christ, this again. Right, so this was... I just had to change all the... But I had to look for the specific item. I'm guessing it's up here. Did it? Can I pick that? Yeah? No, I can't. I have to break this. Why? Nope. Okay. Oh, that's the sheet. Just ignore me. I'm being a dumbass. The sickle. Would they have closed it with the sickle? That was the murder weapon. The sword's there, but the sword was left in the place. So how was that? Oh, there's a Monokuma doll down there. Okay. Can I pick that yet? No. Can I pick it yet? There, the sword. But the sword was left inside. How could he lock it behind him when the sword was left inside the place? Or am I misremembering something here? The gold leaf katana that was stabbed into Kaidi's effigy. The culprit used that to hit the knob of the sliding door to... The culprit used that to hit the knob of the sliding lock to lock the door. Sure, the gold leaf was on the sliding lock because when the katana hit the lock, some of the gold leaf rubbed off on it. The gold leaf in that katana did peel rather easily.
That evidence rings a bell. Specifically a school bell.
Huh? You're talking about a different school? What school was it?
Now, that doesn't matter anymore. Let's not dwell on the past. The gold leaf landed on the sliding lock when the katana touched it. So that means the culprit used the katana to move the sliding lock, right? But wait, how did they move it with a katana? And from outside Ange's lab?
The clue that might give us an answer is to the layout of the area itself. Oh, did they spin Kaide or something? Maybe. It was an odd setup after all. The katana stabbed into the effigy. The effigy's hung upside down. So,
Angie didn't do that as part of the ritual.
No, nowhere in the Necronomicon did it say you had to hang the effigies.
If it was not part of the ritual, then it must have been for a different purpose, right?
A different purpose. What could that have been? That culprit somehow used the setup to lock the room. In that case, I need to know the reason behind every step of that setup. If I do that, the way the culprit locked the room should be clear. Psych taxi. Oh Christ, well we're speeding this up, aren't we? Let's go! all three. Excellent. That wasn't so bad. Not so bad at all. Complete. That's it. The reason the culprit stuck the katana into the effigy was so that it would hit the sliding lock as the effigy spun.
Effigy spun?
That's right. If you spun the effigy, the rope that it was hanging from would twist. Why was there blood on the sword, though? There's another question. Then if you let it go, the rope would unwind and the effigy would spin the other way. And of course, the katana would spin with it. Okay. It's a very,
I see. So the culprit used the katana's counterspin to push the lock in place.
The culprit simply needed to spin the effigy's rope and then swiftly leave. This would cause the spinning katana to hit the sliding lock, and thus was the back door of an empty classroom locked from the inside.
yes, that's how Angie's lab was locked. By using the effigy with the katana. A plan born from the heart of a sword, travelling through the air to intercept us. Oh, but could have it moved the slide lock so easily? The slide lock was pretty loose. A little push could move it. As long as the spinning katana hit the lock, it would have slid into position. Even if the culprit failed the first couple times, they could keep trying until it locked.
Which is why the culprit chose to strike at night time, as to avoid detection.
Yes, since the student council prohibited anyone from walking around at night time.
Are you saying it's the student council's fault?
I didn't say that. In any case, the culprit probably used the murder weapon for this trick. It had to have been the right length to hit the sliding lock from the effigy. The culprit couldn't find a blade long enough in my lab, so they settled for the katana.
The other effigies were only hung up so we'd think there was some kind of ceremony. That way we wouldn't notice the lock trick.
But Kokichi did say earlier that he could have picked the lock closed. I don't want to completely ignore that possibility. But I can't imagine the culprit would have done all this just for a distraction.
If that's the case, then Kokichi's confession earlier was actually...
Seriously? You fucking lied again. Cover it up, Kokichi.
Oh man, the guy's got me. Okay, I'm not the culprit.
Tell the truth this time, right?
I want to say I'm lying, but I'm not.
Why did you say you were the culprit?
I wanted to lure the culprit out. If I claimed to be the culprit, then the real culprit would agree as well, you get me? And if they pressured me to confess, then that would have looked mildly suspicious. Shush, darn it, don't get in my way. No, it didn't go my way, because Shritzy butted in on my plan.
You and your fucking lies. Go sit in a corner and play with yourself.
Okay, I'll start right now.
Alright, who's the asshole who set up this locked room mystery?
I can't hold it up anymore.
What's the matter? You're going soft on me now.
Who made the locked room mystery? It doesn't matter, since anyone could have done it. Don't you even understand this? Don't you even understand something as basic as that, you filthy cum dumpster?
Cum dumpster?
Oh Christ.
Finally, someone finally called me a cum dumpster.
What should we talk about now?
Yes, Gonta, let's just get this moving speedily along.
We must focus on not on the locked room, but on who entered Angie's lab. Only one of the student council members, Kokichi, could have gained entry. Therefore, the culprit must be among their number.
That leaves us with 4 suspects. Samugi, Gonta, Kibe, and Kokichi.
Don't forget Himiko. She's also part of the student council. Doesn't matter if she was besties with Angie, she's still a suspect.
That contradicts what you said earlier, which I can prove using my recording function.
It's fine. That's just a waste of time.
Me, a suspect? I'd never kill Angie.
So calling all suspects, what should we discuss next? I want to hear everyone's opinion. What would you say to get yourself off the suspect list?
Why are you trying to lead the debate? You're a suspect too.
Silence, outsider! Only the suspect rangers are allowed to speak.
Suspect rangers?
I agree. Those under suspicion should explain themselves thoroughly. We might catch them with their pants down.
Anyway, I want to ask the suspect rangers. What should we talk about? What should we say to get ourselves off the suspect list? Well guys, I want to hear what you think.
That's sorts of a difficult question, you know.
Content is smart enough to know how to answer that. Yes, it is difficult to formulate a logical response to that question.
Not articulate with words, huh? Don't you guys want to prove your innocence?
They didn't trust you one bit, and I don't blame them. You're probably plotting. Why? Did Tinkle have to die? Huh? I want to know what happened to Angie too, but... Can we talk about Tenko's case now and not just Angie's?
I got you exactly where I wanted, Himiko.
What do you mean?
The two victims could have been killed by two separate murderers, you know? So we need to find the first black and responsible for the first victim. We gotta figure out who killed Angie. Until we solve Angie's case, Tenko's case is meaningless. Did you suggest that to waste our time?
Slap? Nope.
It's not meaningless.
Himiko?
Tenko's death was meaningless? How dare you? Poor Tenko, how could you do this to her?
Himiko?
Himiko, stop it with your crappy lies.
Lies?
Everything you said is total BS. You don't give two shits about Tenko when she was alive. But now you're like, oh no, poor Tenko after she's dead. Come on, really?
Kokichi, enough!
No, it's okay. It's no surprise you'd think that. I know I ignored Tenko before. That's why I'm so upset now. I should have faced Tenko, worked things out with her while she was still alive. But now it's too late. I can't complain to her, or thank her. It's too late.
Yeah, seriously, it's way too late to realize that now. The only option is to face her death head on.
Face her death?
Himiko, I understand what you're going through. So I'm gonna help you out. Let's work together to find the truth. I'm not gonna let anyone say her death didn't matter.
Kaito. Alright, I'll put a silencing curse on whoever calls Tenko's death meaningless. The name of the curse is Death Curse.
I suppose being dead would silence someone pretty good.
Listen up. All you guys are gonna help out too. Abandoning someone who died and only thinking about your own survival. That's just as bad as a hit and run. I wouldn't forgive something so messed up.
Tenko's a friend. Gotta wanna know why she died too.
I already told you, that's so unnecessary. We're getting sidetracked here.
Nope, even if it was a different culprit, we need to know how Tenko died. If we don't find out who killed her, we won't be able to work together. Not now, not ever. Even if this trial isn't for her, in order for us to survive, we need to get to the bottom of Tenko's death.
I've got the hiccups, excuse me.
Not just to survive this trial, but so we can keep going and live on.
Kaito.
Finally, you noticed. Jeez, you're so slow.
Did Kokichi want us to notice?
Don't listen to his crap. We haven't decided whether there were two different culprits yet.
Then it's
talk about Tenko's case then. Perhaps that will provide us a clue.
Yeah, maybe. They're not wrong, but I don't mind going over Tenko's case. But that was an abrupt change of topic. Was that intentional?
So what do we talk about first?
For now, let's see if we can narrow down the list of suspects.
Tencrouch probably got killed during the seance, so everyone there is suspicious.
Tencrouch.
The people who attended the seance. The people who attended the seance was Korakiyu, Shuichi, Kibo, Shuichi. No, it wasn't Kaito. Shuichi, Himiko, Korakiyu, and Kibo. No, Kibo wasn't it. That first one. Yeah. Kibo was there and he got kicked out. It was Miyakio, Himiko, and Kokichi.
So those four are the culprits.
Oh, Himiko's still culprit?
Well, that's probably just a coinky-dink. The most suspicious out of the four of us is really... Kyo. He suggested the whole science idea.
True, I may have suggested it, but I explained the procedure beforehand, yes? If we all knew of it before the murder, then we are all equally suspicious.
Well, I suppose, but...
In addition, the seance wasn't entirely in my control either. I was not the one who selected the room we performed in it. It was Himiko. However, there are 3 empty rooms. Which one shall we use?
The middle room. The middle room's always best for stuff like this.
Very well. I shall begin the preparations at once.
All right.
Also, we should not limit our suspects to only those who participated in the seance. The empty room had a point of entry from outside, you see.
A point of entry from outside? He must be referring to... the hole up here, right? So that's kind of implicated himself there, because how did he know there was an entryway under the floor unless he'd already been under there? He's already implicated himself. Well, this trial is not... whatever. We're talking about the under the floor, right?
Huh? Under the floor?
Yeah, there's a crawl space under the floor a person could move through. There was also a hole that connected it to the neighbouring room. If the culprit used a hole, they could have entered and exited the seance room.
If we consider that possibility, then there is another suspect.
Another suspect? Who?
It's appearing before me. Oh, I can see it clearly. The true identity of Tenko's killer.
Okay. Loose floorboard, flashlight, hole in the corner. The culprit sneaked in during the seance. I'm going to assume it's the hole in the corner. By crawling under the floor. But it was pitch black during the seance. How could they even see if they were under the floor? Because it wasn't dark under the floor. You see, our villain had a light. Light? You mean candle? I mean Kibo's flashlight function. Huh? Now hold on a second. You'd have seen a light. Kibo could have used the function to get under the floor and sneak into the empty room during the seance. I said, hold on a second. He uses robot functions to commit the murders. Hold on a second. He's about to transform. It's true that with a little light you could move it under the floor. But thinking about that room, I don't think that would be possible to use the light under the floor. Yeah, because of the hole in the corner. Right, so let's just skip ahead to the first... Where was it now? The second? Wasn't dark under the floor. That one. Boom! Okay. I don't think the culprit would have used a light while under the floor. There was a hole in the corner of the room. If a light were used, it would have leaked through and we would have seen it.
But when we did the seance, the room was definitely pitch black.
So a light was not shined into the floor, which means you cannot claim I am the culprit.
So, I thought this would be the case, but the murder would only be done by a robot.
You have accused me of being the culprit more than once now, simply because I am a robot. My status as a robot does not mean I am capable of performing superhuman feats. My vision is somewhat poor, and I only possess average physical strength and intelligence.
Alright, you made your point. God, now I feel sort of bad for you.
I neither want nor need your pity.
Enough with the flashlight. It's way too bright. It would have been difficult to move around under the floor in that pitch-black darkness. Maybe the floor and the hole have nothing to do with this case.
Then why was Floorball and the Tenku lined up funny? Can't I think that was so culprit could stab Tenku from under the floor.
Oh, nice observation, Gunter. Are you finally getting used to these class trials?
Thank you.
Don't say it like that. You're better off not being used to this kind of stuff. Maybe they marked Tenko with glowing paint and looked for that. Why have I heard that one before? That'd let the culprit find her. Then they could stab her through the floorboards.
Boy, that sounds really familiar too, but I'm just going to ignore it.
Her corpse didn't have any trace of glowing paint, though. Oh yeah. So then why was that floorboard loose? The loose floorboard was the one under Tenko, right? If the culprit used it while she was still alive, she'd totally notice. Who fucking cares? Fussing over that won't get us any closer to the culprit. We shouldn't dismiss this line of inquiry, however. Instead of butting our heads against this, how about we concentrate on another issue? What other issue? Perhaps first, we should figure out how and when exactly Tenko was killed.
When? So not during seance?
Tenko was in the metal cage for the whole seance, wasn't she? How could someone have gotten her to her there?
Maybe the culprit killed her before she went under the metal cage.
That's not possible. She was alive at that point. This is the point of no return, Tenko. After this point, you mustn't speak. The next time you open your mouth, it will be Angie speaking through you.
Understood. I will not say a word until the seance is over.
Yes, she was unmistakably alive when the seance began.
I was right before we blew out the candles, but when the light came back...
The floorboard was removed at that point, so it's likely she was already dead then. So she was killed when the room was dark?
But she was inside cage, right? Gotta think it impossible to kill her then.
And she wasn't killed when the room was dark. It was a different time. A different time? How the fuck should I know? You figure it out, shitheads. Huh? Since God has said it was impossible, I'm proposing an alternate theory. Now hurry up and think. If you want to make my golden brain tingle, start circle jerking your limp-dick brains.
Alright, now what? Iron cage, white sheepdog statue. When Tenko got killed. It wasn't during the seance. Pretty certain it was. It could not have been done at any other time. Under the cage, she was under the cage the whole time. And she was dead when the cage was lifted. What about the moment the cage was lifted? Oh, like that. When cage lifted, culprit stabbed Tenko real fast. So fast no one saw. Miyu, you need to settle down. So who lifted the cage? It was me. You settle down. There was obviously Himiko as the culprit. There's no doubt. What is... You know what? I'm just going to move past it. Tenko not being killed during the seance. Impossible. She couldn't have been killed when the cage was opened. I'll prove it. Because there was blood on the sheet. So what one do I shoot? Any other time? Under the cage. No, that's not it. When the cage, she was dead. She was already lifted. She's having a crisis. Okay, that one. Damn it. Right, fast forward. Skip ahead. Yes, yes. When the cage was lifted, she's having a bit of a crisis there. That one. There we go. I get the feeling that Miu's becoming more sexually frustrated as this game continues. No, it wasn't possible to kill her the moment the cage was lifted. Because the inside of the white cloth had Tenko's blood on it. That cloth was removed before the cage was lifted. If Tenko was stabbed then, there wouldn't be blood on the cloth.
What? But how could my golden brain be so wrong when it felt so right?
The only possibility is that Tenko was killed during the seance. You just need to go and clean yourself up instead of arguing.
No, it's still wrong to think that Tenko was killed during the seance.
What?
I'm gonna prove it right now. My golden brain is going to go all out.
Sure, whatever. This is this chopping thing, isn't it? Marker stone, loose floorboard, iron cage. I'm not even paying attention to what she's saying. Thin blade through the gaps in the floorboard. Clean white sheet stained with blood. But the weapon was a sickle. Only the blade could have fit through the gaps. The blade's all you need. If you stuck the blade through the gap, it'd be long enough to reach Tenko. Sitting in there with her neck exposed. She wasn't that far from the cage gaps. In which case the person who lifted the sheet is the culprit. None other than Kyo. There must be a hole in Miu's logic somewhere. Tenko wasn't sitting down when she was inside. There must be proof. What is there? A stone? So... Is it the stone? There's the stone. Okay. Oh, of course she had her head on the stone. Yeah, of course. Wait just a minute. Tenko wasn't sitting down inside the cage. She was bent over with her forehead against the marker stone. And the cage itself was about 3 feet tall. The sickle's blade was too short to reach Tenko while she was in that position. Have we even mentioned the fact that she was killed with a sickle?
Then I messed up again. How could this happen? I'm so embarrassed.
No worries, Miller. Everybody already knows you're an embarrassment to the human race.
Yeah, no worries.
How embarrassing.
If Shuichi is right, then it's impossible for Tenko to have been killed through the cage.
She couldn't have been killed during the seance since she was in the cage, right? If she was killed then, the cloth over the cage would have been pierced.
Not during the seance or from below the floor. Then it's impossible, isn't it?
Yeah, for a living person.
Huh?
What if it's Andy's spirit killed Tenko?
What are you talking about? That's not possible.
We don't know that. Some things are impossible for a human, but not for a spirit.
Don't say stupid stuff like that. Screw spirits.
Stop that now.
Andy's spirit killed Tenko? Why?
Himiko?
Why would Andy's spirit kill Tenko? What if Tenko killed Angie, and then Angie's spirit came back for revenge?
Like I said, that's impossible. Spirits can't be culprits.
Then explain how the culprit killed Tenko under these impossible circumstances.
Well,
See? You can't explain, can you? Only the spirit could have done that.
wait, I know. What if the culprit was hiding inside the cage?
What?
If they were in there, they could have stabbed Tenko during the seance.
No. If there was someone else in the cage, we would have noticed. I agree with Kaito. The culprit could have been inside the cage. You do?
Nonsense. There was no space in the cage for the culprit to hide.
Maybe the culprit wouldn't need to hide in the first place.
What?
Also, the culprit could have killed her in the cage at any time. I think you know what I'm getting at, right? The they she's referring to. I haven't a clue. What was... Who could have killed Tenko from inside the cage? Tenko was the only one inside the cage. But that doesn't even make sense. Because none of the others could have fit. Is that really what they're going with? Is it? Why? I believe Maki's referring to Tenko herself.
What did you say?
Are you saying Tenko is the culprit? She committed suicide.
Suicide?
That doesn't... They're... I mean, okay, I get it, but they're completely ignoring all the evidence, like the bloody sickle under the floor. If she committed suicide, that would explain a lot of things we couldn't figure out. She volunteered to be in the cage, and then stabbed herself during this seance. It wouldn't matter how dark the room was.
But the sickle she stabbed towards is under the floor, right? If Tenko had stabbed herself, wouldn't the sickle be still inside the cage?
Oh my god. Miu actually said something smart.
Perhaps that explains why the floorboard was removed. After stabbing herself with the sickle, she threw it underneath the floor.
No, that's a lot of nonsense.
So she took the floorboard to get rid of the sickle.
Pretty certain she didn't have enough room to actually do any of that.
Yes, that makes sense to Gunter.
Well, it doesn't make sense to me. There's no reason for Tenko to commit suicide. Maybe I wasn't too far off at the theory I had earlier. You know, about Tenko killing Angie. Because Tenko and Angie were fighting for attention, right?
Hey Angie, when did you brainwash Himiko?
Tenko's pent-up frustration led to her to commit such an atrocity. Her conscience couldn't handle it anymore, so she decided to end her own life. What?
But if she was going to kill herself, why'd do it during the seance?
She wanted to hide the truth of her suicide.
Really? Why?
There could only be one reason to hide it in a killing game, right?
Excuse me?
It's to take us down with her. Take us down? She wanted us to pick the wrong answer during the class trial, so she could bring us all down. She wanted us to die with her. Well, okay, she probably just wanted Himiko to die with her, but still. What are you saying? Tenko wasn't like that. She told me.
Keep your chin up and we'll live life facing forward. Survive with me and everyone else.
What if all that was just a lie? Lie?
Wait, we should believe Tenko's last words.
The true terror of class trials is that you shouldn't believe everything said.
Seneca, you said that Tenko would never do anything like that. But how can you be so sure? Did you guys actually know each other? People keep all sorts of secrets. Like Maki, she hid the fact that she's a cold-blooded killer. Is it wise of us to trust other people wholeheartedly in this kind of situation?
Jeez, you're such a naive dude.
Naive?
We're all just people, you know. Of course we're gonna have some secrets. What matters is whether there's any malice behind them.
People can lie about how malicious their hidden secrets really are.
Well, duh. It's impossible to know for sure what others are thinking. That's why when it comes down to whether or not you believe in yourself. If you get betrayed, it's not their fault. It's your fault for believing in them. That's why I believed in Maki Rule, because I wanted to believe in her.
Just because you're acting all cool doesn't mean you get to skip training.
Hey, come on. Don't you think you're being a little too strict?
Well, we come from different backgrounds, so for now, let's agree to disagree. No one's ever called me naive before. I'm from Kaito? Seriously?
Whether or not I believe. My heart can't reach Tenko anymore, but I want to believe in her. She wouldn't commit suicide. She wouldn't try to take us down. That's what I want to believe.
Me too. Gods I know can't believe Tenko commits suicide.
But if Tenko did commit suicide, that would answer all of our questions. Not all of them. Again, you're kind of ignoring the dried blood, and among other things.
If you insist we believe in Tenko, then provide a reason to do so.
A proper reason. Alright, I'll give you a reason. Is there a reason? Yes, there is. Will you trust me, Maki? If it turns out I'm wrong, you can blame me all you like. But for now, I need you to trust in my detective work. I don't believe Tenko would kill herself because of what she said. Okay, everyone, I'll see you guys after the seance. She said see you guys after. I doubt she had a sudden change of heart. Just because we don't know how she was killed doesn't mean that it was a suicide. We shouldn't be satisfied with that, and if we keep thinking, we'll find the truth. And that means we have to believe in Tenko. I'll make them all believe. Right, back to non-stop debate again. So I'm guessing it's last moments. But what do I shoot? Her plan was to take us down with her, so she hid her true intentions. Tenko's not that kind of person. But if Tenko did commit suicide, it would explain how she died during the seance. She could have secretly brought the sickle and then stabbed herself with it. Finally, consider with the last of her strength, she threw the sickle underneath the floor. All the pieces fit. Everyone thinks that Tenko committed suicide, but only because they're latching onto the easiest answer. She would have had the strength to throw away the sickle. I have to lie. Oh. Christ. Alright, so what point am I lying at then? Still not sure. Also, I think it's you hold Y for lie. Her plan was to take us down with her, so I've got to the opposite of that. So that's been no, okay, so I don't agree with that one. If Tenko did commit suicide, it would explain how she died. She brought the sickle. No, I don't think it's a lie. So it means there was finally that one. Oh, whoops. Christ. Everyone thinks that Tenko committed suicide, only because they're actually going to these. Okay, yeah, I think I know. So I'm just going to hit LY before it happens. So now I just hold on to it. Because there's no time limit to holding this, is there? Stab herself with it. Finally, that one, that's her strength. Yes, so we're lying that's saying that wasn't the last of her strength. She died instantly? Is that what we're going to say? Tenko couldn't have thrown the sickle onto the floor, because she died instantly.
Instantly?
Maki knows I'm lying.
Her death might not have been instant, but she couldn't have gone far before she bled out.
I'm certain of it. My investigation determined that she died instantly.
What's your opinion, Maki? I'd like to hear it from someone who specializes in murder.
Maki?
You're right. I completely forgot about that important detail. Tenko died instantly.
What?
As an assassin, I specialize in killing my targets swiftly. I have no doubt that Tenko was killed immediately.
Words of a true killer. Pretty sure we can believe everything she said.
Thank you, Maki.
How could you forget that, Wereball? You better apologize to Suichi.
Excuse me.
It's okay, Kaito, really. No apology necessary. Anyway, Tenko died so suddenly that she couldn't have gotten rid of the sickle. Knowing that, the theory that she killed herself just doesn't fit, correct?
Just like I thought, Tenko wouldn't commit suicide.
Thank goodness, Himiko.
Which means someone definitely killed Tenko during the seance. Her suicide was considered because we could not determine how she was killed. Now, there must have been a way. We're going to figure that out.
Did any of the participants witness anything peculiar during the seance? If you know something, please speak up. It could be the key to solving this mystery.
A bad idea. We should remember what happened at the seance. Let me try to remember. I'm sure there's something. The clunk noise. I need some kind of clue that will help me solve this mystery. Just non-stop debate again. Excuse me. Yeah, sound during seance, so that's what I'm using. Did anyone see anything during the seance? There is something that bothers me. The fact that the seance failed. The ritual was perfect and yet it failed. How utterly strange. Now that I think about it, while we were all singing the song, I heard something fall, I think. That one. Damn it. I'm more concerned about how dark it got in there. I mean, it was totally pitch black. My job was to relight the candles. Moving along the walls was seriously tough. Yeah, let's agree with Himiko. The ritual was perfect. Utterly strange. Now that I think about it. We were all singing the song. Something fall. Damn it! Alright, let's try again. We're just singing a song. Freeze. And I still... How can a game with words be so pernickety when it comes to hitting the damn things? Alright, fast forward again. Still can't believe I missed the damn thing when it was frozen. There we go. Okay, so we've done our lies. We shouldn't need to lie anymore in this trial, right? 'Cause I'm assuming there was one lie. Himiko, you think that something fell because of that sound you heard, right? At long last, young dog, little girl, death, everybody's doomed. Bang. Yep. That sounded...
It sounded like something heavy fell down and hit the floor really hard. What could have fallen down?
Fallen down? There wasn't anything on the ceiling that could have fallen down, right?
Oh! Could it have been the... I thought it was the floorboard underneath Tenko, but could it have been the wall separating the two... No, wouldn't it... No, it couldn't have been that because he didn't need to go into the next room. He just had to drop down underneath the floorboards. Maybe it was the floorboard moving.
Am I wrong? I thought something fell, but...
The sound was pretty loud. It does seem like something hit the floorboards.
A loud sound, like something hit the floorboards. Maybe that sound had something to do with the other thing that happened in the dark. Oh Christ, what was the other thing that happened in the dark? Margaret stone, loose floorboard, iron cage, sound, during sense, hole in the corner, dried blood. The cross piece? No, what would be the... What was the question? What caused the sound that was heard? No, it was the... Yeah, the loose floorboard. I think the floorboard coming off had something to do with that sound. That floorboard came loose at some point during the seance, right?
Would the floorboard have made such a loud sound, though?
It was the sound of an intense impact.
If the impact was that intense, then it could have loosened the floorboard.
That is true. There would have had to be a strong impact to make that sound. But what was it? What could it possibly be?
Alright then, let's go with that. We all gotta put our heads together now.
Some more non-stop debate. Alright, okay. Sound, magic circle, cross piece. So what made the floorboard come loose? Judging from the sound, it was with considerable force. Guessing it's this. Someone who participated in the seance. Maybe that person tore off the floorboard. That wouldn't make such a loud crashing sound. Maybe the wooden statue fell over. But that statue was still on top of the cage. Culprit hid under the floor, then stood up with such might. We already said that there was no one under the floor. Someone must have stomped through the floorboard. A floorboard that comes loose when you step on it is dangerous. God, it's like I'm the only one who's here staying on the ball. You hardly have any experience with balls to say that, Miyu. Don't be stupid. Don't you know, me and balls are the best of friends. Okay. What would have made a strong enough impact to knock loose the floorboard? I can only imagine it was standing up underneath it, right? Could have something to do with it. What else would there have been? Judging from the sound, there must be considerable force. Someone who participated in a seance. Maybe that person tore off the floorboard. It's not that. Wooden statue fell over. It's not that. Statue was still on top of the cage. Culprit hid under the floor. Then could it be that one? They said someone must have stomped through the floorboard. You can't have stomped through the floorboard though, because there was a cage over it. So it must be... Yeah, talking about balls, she gets horny again. So I'm going to go with what Gonta says, because I don't think any of the other ones make sense. Well, the first two certainly don't make... It's not possible in the first two. Culprit hid under the floor. No, it's got...
If the culprit hit their head on that tough floorboard, they'd be dead.
I made a mistake. Is it the stomp? Oh, so they're not stomping down. They could have lied on their back and pushed up with their feet, right? Because we know for a fact it's not tearing off the floorboard and it's not the statue, so it has to be stomping. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense unless I say it's stomping from underneath the floor. Boom! Okay, not sure. Interesting to see how they explain this one, but... Kokichi is right. The floorboard came loose because someone stomped on it.
But floorboards fit perfectly. Ganta makes sure first time we go into empty room.
When we first saw the room, yes, but when I looked again during the investigation... One of the cross pieces supporting the floorboards was cut off. Oh wait, so if they kicked one side, it would tip down like that. Okay. After examining the cut, I concluded that it must have been done deliberately.
Someone? You mean the culprit, right? Why'd they do that?
What did the culprit stand to gain by cutting the crosspiece?
What do they stand to gain? That's the question. To solve this case, I need to think carefully about the crosspiece and floorboard. Tenko's body was at one end of the loose floorboard, and the crosspiece that had been cut was on the other end of the floor. The unsupported part was outside the cage, so it could have been stomped on. Only one of the crosspieces was cut, the other two were intact. One of them was right under Tenko, and the other was in the centre, right about where the edge of the cage was. What was the culprit attempting to achieve by stomping on the floorboard? Not projecting, catapulting? Think, come on, think. What we're doing now? Hangman's Gap. Oh, okay, right, okay, it's this. Oh, Jesus. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, God, okay, so it's not. LSE AW SEA Seesaw something? Because that's what that would be, a seesaw. I'll go with seesaw because S E E S A W. Seesaw what though? I don't know. Seesaw pivots. There's no P. Was that a P there? I'll run out of whatever the hell I used to. No, it's an F. It's not pivot. Pivot doesn't even have 6 letters. Ignore me. Seesaw something. Oh, wait, hang on. Effect? Is it a C? They have some weird. I mean, I got that one, but yeah, a bit weird, some of these words that they use. But that's right, the floorboard must have been used as a seesaw.
A seesaw?
The crosspiece at one end of the floorboard had been cut off. The other 2 crosspieces holding up that board were close to the cage. Meaning if you were to apply force to the end of the floorboard with no crosspiece. So I wasn't necessarily wrong in my assumption that there was a blade underneath the statue. A lever capable of lifting up Tenko's entire body. Her whole body lifted up.
Yeah, that sounds like a seesaw, alright. But why bother lifting Tenko's body?
They couldn't have killed Tenko like that unless they used a sickle.
That's exactly it. Using the seesaw trick, it was possible to kill Tenko with the sickle. Huh? How? In order for the culprit to kill Tenko with the seesaw trick, the placement of the sickle is the most important factor. The floorboard seesaw, the cage, and the blood on the white fabric. What conclusion can I draw from this? Oh, so that's why the sword, the katana, had blood on it. It did the same thing that the sickle did in the second time. There's only one place that sickle could have been that is consistent with the evidence. Where was the sickle? It was under. It was between the top of the cage. How long have we been going? Christ, this is going to be another long episode. The sickle was at the top of the iron cage with the blade facing down. The reason we didn't see it was because of the fabric covering the cage. Also, the wooden statue kept the blade in place. But they said there wasn't a hole in the blanket. So how does that work? Excuse me. It's true that the sickle's handle was thick, which made the statue wobble. But the statue's weight kept it from falling over. Once everything was in place, if you stepped hard enough on the seesaw, Tenko's body would have shot upward and hit the blade in the top of the cage. She was bent over, meaning the sickle's blade would have connected with her neck. The 6-inch sickle blade wasn't long enough to stab Tenko in a crouched position. But with the floorboard acting as a seesaw, it could compensate for the blade's length.
Bringing the victim to the sickle, rather than bringing the sickle to the victim. That's definitely an unorthodox idea.
It's crazy, but it would explain how Tenko got stabbed while she was in the cage.
So the sound we heard was the culprit stomping on the floorboard.
That impact made floorboard come loose.
Looks like we got ourselves a good old-fashioned seesaw homicide. Wait, what the hell is a seesaw homicide? That's fucking crazy.
The craziness is what makes the killing game fun, you know. They can't get away with murder the normal way, so they gotta think outside the box. Kudos, culprit. You did a great job keeping me entertained.
Indeed. Well played, Himiko.
Huh?
It was you, wasn't it? The one behind the seesaw homicide.
Why her?
Yes, because clearly she weighs so much more than Tenko does.
Because she's the only one capable of carrying out this plan.
The only one? Why's that?
Because the seesaw homicide required its location to be prepared beforehand.
By cutting the crosspiece beneath the floorboard, you mean?
From the culprit would need to lure their victim into the prepared room. That is why you chose that room for the seance, is it not, Himiko? However, there are 3 empty rooms. Which one shall we use?
The middle room. The middle room's always best for stuff like this.
Oh yeah, Himiko was the one who chose the site for the seance.
She likely found out about my plans for the seance somehow.
You were quite vocal about the seance, Kyo. You even had instructions for it in your lab.
Our culprit, Himiko, prepared her seesaw trap ahead of time. Then she waited for me to host the seance and suggested the middle room. She led us all into holding the seance right where she wanted it. And then she killed Tenko, all according to plan.
That's a lie, right? Himiko did such a thing?
In the end, Himiko, who Tenko cherished and loved, tragically killed her.
Wait, we don't know that, right? He's wrong, right, Himiko? Himiko would never kill Tenko, right?
Kill Tenko? I killed Tenko?
Himiko? What's wrong, Himiko?
Is it true that using the middle room was Himiko's... It is true that using the middle room is Himiko's idea. But does that mean that Himiko really killed Tenko? Would something like that really happen? Something so cruel? Like I said, I still think it's Kyo, but knowing these kind of games, they'll randomly pull an explanation out their arsehole and try and justify it, even though it's clearly obvious that all the evidence points in another direction. Anyway, this episode's going on long enough at this point, so I'm going to leave it right there. Remember, always keep it loud, keep it heavy, and I will see you all in the next episode.